Welcome back. As you know, I am Eli, the computer guy, here for the Daily Blob, where I shake my brain nips every day to get some of that dirty YouTube money so I can afford to provide you folks in-person technology education, Durham, North Carolina. Silicon Dojo, silicondojo.com. We do free to end-user hands-on technology education that empowers you to do whatever it is you want to do. In Durham, North Carolina, we have a class coming up on AI and SQL. Next week, we have a class on AI and web scraping coming up on November 19th. If you're interested, go to silicondojo.com to look at the schedule. Come, learn, take the information, and do with it as you will. Do remember, free to end user is not actually free. There's a donor box link down below if you want to throw some money in to help the project. So Trump met with Xi, and something apparently happened. There we go, done. How's your day going? How's your day going? Oh, Lordy. I think that's one of the interesting things about Trump is that his entire presidency is always going to be interesting because he never actually solves the problem. I think that's the whole, you sit there and you're like, whatever it is. You might have a teacher, you might have a friend, you might have an enemy, you might have a car. You know how there's just something out there that annoys the ever-loving shit out of you. And you're just I'm not really sure why. I mean, I can say all these things, but they don't really seem to be the reason this thing annoys the ever-loving shit out of me. And then there's that moment where it's wah, wah. Now I understand why this thing annoys the ever-loving shit out of me. And that's the thing with Trump, right? Trump never fucking solves any goddamn problems. The only thing, right, this fucking fat-ass, senile, coke-addicted bastard can do is kick the can just a little bit down the fucking road. And he's so fucking fat, and he's so fucking lazy, and he's so fucking pathetic, he can't even kick the can down the road that fucking far, because he's an old fuck, right? So he kicks it down the road about another 3 goddamn feet. So we're like, wow, yay, things will be slightly stable until he can fucking get himself that 3 feet, and then we run into yet another crisis again, right? So we have the crisis right now between United States and China because Trump wants to pretend to be a real man. He's an alpha dog, right? He's a MAGA alpha dog telling the Chinese what's what, and everything's kind of spinning out of control because the Chinese are just fucking tired of it. China man tired. China man just fucking tired, right? And so they're pushing back, and now we've got whatever the hell's going on, right? So we had the tariffs. So there's fentanyl tariffs. Fentanyl tariffs were 20%, everything coming out of China. And then Trump was threatening 100% stacking tariffs. So tariffs were theoretically going to go up to 147% on China. China has just stopped buying soybeans from the United States. They normally buy $15 billion of soybeans every year. They have bought nothing until yesterday. They've bought no soybeans at all from us. They're doing export restrictions on rare earths. And so Trump and Xi are getting together so that they can, I don't know. But it's important to understand. The important thing to understand on the Trump administration is we're never really going to get clarity. It's all about insanity. It will never stop being about insanity. He needs that fight. It's interesting, right? I got half my family. Half my family is basically dead at this point in time, right? Half my family is fine. Half my family is basically dead. One of the interesting things I saw with half my family is people get so used to abuse. So people get so used to poverty. So people get so used to chaos that they don't know what to do when it's not there. Right? Again, an interesting thing to watch is watch somebody who was poor, who was destitute, who was all of these things, self-destruct when they move into a clean, stable environment. You know what, an environment where you wake up in the morning and you drink your cup of coffee and you read the newspaper, you talk with your spouse, you go off to work, you come home, you walk the dog, you do a little bit of exercise, right? A nice, normal, stable life. Well, here's the thing. If you have somebody I spent years and years and years just in pure fucking insanity, right? They wake up in the morning to somebody screaming, "Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening." They walk immediately into chaos, all kinds of problems and all kinds of issues going on. They go to the work and they've already had a chip on their shoulder, and then they feel like their boss doesn't respect them. And so then it's a fight between them and the boss. And then the other people at work, they don't respect them either. So they've got to fight there, and then they've got to come back, right? It's all this, rah, right? And you take that person, and you put them into a nice, happy, sane environment. And one of the funniest fucking things you will ever watch in your life is one of those bastards fucking self-destruct in the silence, right? It is a curious thing. Again, for a lot of my viewers out there, as I say, I did not always live the life that I am currently living. I was part of that insanity way back when I was a kid. Again, at one point, I spent way too many years of my life where a walk-in closet was my bedroom, right? And one of the things that I'll tell you is one of the hardest things for people that get brought up in that type of environment is to leave that environment behind, is to accept the quiet. And the problem we have with the Trump administration is, they're never going to accept quiet. They don't want quiet. They want chaos. They are addicted to the spiraling insanity. And so that's basically what we're going to get as a nation for the next 3.5 years. From CNBC, the biggest takeaways from the Trump-Xi meeting, what the truce covers, and what is still unclear. Yeah, that's a bit of a question there, right? President Donald Trump and President Xi Jinping reached a trade truce during the high-stakes meeting in South Korea on Thursday, de-escalating the dispute over rare earth elements that had threatened to push the world's two largest economies into a full-blown trade war. Well, that sounds good. That's a nice soundbite. Yeah, it is. China has agreed to pause for 1 year the sweeping export controls on rare earths announced on October 9th that had touched off the dispute. Oh, fuck you. That had not touched off the dispute. I do find this funny. China's getting blamed for everything. Well, you know what China did after Trump kept haranguing them for a fucking year is they did something, which means it's China's fault. Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One that the rare earths agreement is a 1-year deal that will be, quote, very routinely extended as time goes by. And so that's one of the things you'll notice with all of this stuff. We are not getting trade treaties, right? Treaties would have to go through Congress. And neither Trump nor the castrated fucking welfare queen Republican Congress people want Congress to actually do anything. So we're not getting trade treaties, right? Treaties are are legally binding agreements between countries. No, we're getting this weird deal, handshake, horse shit that a fucking wannabe mafia boss does, right? Quote, "We have a deal," Trump said. "Now every year we'll renegotiate the deal." Fuck me. Is this really how we're gonna work as a fucking country? Is our president so fucking senile? Is MAGA so fucked in the goddamn head at this point? You really want to be renegotiating a deal every fucking year? Imagine this. If you're a high-tech company, you need these rare earths material, and you know every fucking year, especially for the next 3, right? If your president fucking stubs their toe and wants to take their anger out on somebody, all of a sudden, right, the agreement is gonna go to fucking hell. Again, and also remember, this isn't a treaty. So it's not a treaty that gets renegotiated every year. It's an agreement that gets renegotiated every year. And we've seen fucking Trump, right? We've seen him blow the goddamn snot bubbles. So who knows? He might try to renegotiate this goddamn thing in 5 days as far as we're concerned. Now every year we'll renegotiate the deal, but I think the deal will go on for a long time, long beyond the year. But all of the rare earth has been settled, and that's for the world. He solved the problem for the world. He put duct tape on the problem he created for the world. And he wants a pat on that. Does he get a Nobel Peace Prize yet? Trump said he cut tariffs effective immediately on China related to fentanyl from 10% to 10% from 20% previously. And again, the big question we have to ask here is what? Why is he going from 20% to 10%? How does that deal with fentanyl? Hey, I got a question. Yeah, so the fentanyl tariffs are to reduce the fentanyl whatever in the US. How does this work? This reduces the overall rate on Chinese goods to around 47%, the president told reporters. Trump had previously threatened to slap China with 100% tariffs on November 1st over its rare earths control. But the truce reached Thursday between the U.S. and China is not a comprehensive deal, said Nicholas Burns, former U.S. ambassador to China. Quote, where we are is an uneasy truce and a long, still simmering trade war, Burns told CNBC. The U.S. has agreed to postpone a rule announced September 29th that blacklisted majority-owned subsidiaries of Chinese companies on an entity list, according to a statement from China's Ministry of Commerce. Trump said Beijing had agreed to purchase large amounts of soybeans, sorghum, and other farm products, though it is unclear how much. So there we go. There we go. Trump has solved the problem that he created with a vague agreement that will last as long as it does and covers whatever it is that it covers. Does that make you feel comfortable as a business owner? As a business owner, as a decision maker, have all of your problems been solved? Yeah, so again, and this is the continuation. What I want you to understand about the economy, this is going on as Amazon's laying off 30,000 people, as UPS has laid off 48,000 people, as Microsoft has laid off 16,000 people, as Intel is laying off 20,000 people, as GM is laying off 4,000 people, as Paramount is laying off 2,000 or 3,000 people now, as the federal government has laid off hundreds of thousands of people, as currently the government is still in a shutdown. We're like 29, 30 days into a shutdown apparently. So this agreement, this mafioso agreement is going into effect while everything else is going on in the economy. What you have to think about, again, for a decision maker or for a business owner or whatever else, does this make you feel more comfortable? Does this make you feel like, okay, not just we're on the right path, but I understand what my plans need to be successful. Now remember, it's always a bet. It's always a bet. But, right, you look at what's going on, you're like, okay, I feel comfortable with this situation. I now feel comfortable that tariffs are going to be at whatever level they are. I feel comfortable I can sell to my customers with a decent profit margin and the whole 9 yards. Does this, do you think, make business owners and decision makers feel more comfortable? Or does this just kind of solidify the idea that we're just going to be under a fucking insane regime over the next 3.5 years, and you cannot plan based off of anything this guy says? So anyways, there you go. There you go. Trump and Xi make an agreement. It's clear as mud. It's clear as mud. It covers something for some amount of time. If you want better than that, you should have voted for somebody else. Elections have consequences, as Obama once famously said. God bless that boy. God bless that boy. If nothing else, he gave us some really good quotes to use in very uncomfortable times. So what do you think about this? What do you think about the U.S.-China trade war? What do you think about this? Again, Nexperia is still going on. That whole thing. U.S. auto plants are starting to do furloughs and the rest of it. What do you think in this whole thing? Is this solving problems, or is this just another sound bite to make the old bastard, pretend to be successful? Put your thoughts down below. If you like these videos, give us a thumbs up. If you hate these videos, give us a thumbs down. Call me amazing, call me a dumbass. Just be a real Lutnick and give me a strong American comment down there. None of those weak European comments are acceptable in my channel. Do remember what I actually care about is Silicon Dojo, silicondojo.com. Free DMs or hands-on technology education that empowers you to do whatever the hell it is you want to do in Durham, North Carolina. We have a class on AI and SQL coming up. We have a class on AI and web scraping coming up on November 19th. Those are just available. You RSVP, you show up, you learn, you go the hell away. That is how we do education in the Eli the Computer Guy world. If you want to help support that, there is a donor box link down below. Free user isn't free. That's why I shake my brain nipples. I do need some of that crowdfunding support. And with that, see y'all later.